Good evening. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. Kenyans are mourning a day after a deadly attack that ended with the deaths of 147 people at an eastern university. Officials say 4 al-Shabab terrorists were also killed. The gunmen attacked in the early morning hours Thursday and started shooting indiscriminately. As the security forces surrounded the Garissa University College, the attackers held some students as hostages. Zlatica Hoke reports.
A manhunt is underway in Kenya for the mastermind of the latest brutal al-Shabab attack that may have been planned for some time. The early morning gunshots sent Garissa students fleeing in panic.
As you can see the situation we are in here, I've even run naked because we were not even given time to know what is happening.
He started shooting, and I shoot to fire of you then.
They started shooting. There was one gunman firing from the doorway, so I had to jump out of the window, and that's when I was hit by a bullet in the leg. I jumped out the window and fell down. I ran to the gate, and that's when I met a biker who helped me get to the hospital.
Awakened by shooting, panicked students were not sure where to go. Witnesses say many ran toward the attackers in the confusion.
65 casualties were taken from the site to the hospital. Of those 65 casualties, 4 of them were critically injured, and a majority of those casualties sustained gunshot wounds.
Kenyan security forces besieged the campus for most of the day before killing the 4 attackers. President Uhuru Kenyatta urged Kenyans to stay calm and provide any useful information they may have about threats to security.
This is a moment for everyone throughout the country to be vigilant as we confront and defeat our enemies.
Kenya's Interior Ministry announced late Thursday that after the gunmen were killed, the operation was complete. Of more than 800 students, some 500 were accounted for. The ministry published a poster of the suspected mastermind of the attack, offering a $215,000 reward. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon condemned the massacre and expressed hope that those responsible will quickly be brought to justice.
The Secretary General reiterates his solidarity with the people and the government of Kenya, as well as the continuing support of the United Nations to Kenya and the countries of the region in their efforts to prevent and counter terrorism and violent extremism.
Somalia-based al-Shabab frequently stages attacks in Kenya, saying it is in retaliation for Nairobi sending troops to fight the terrorist group on its soil. Al-Shabab's deadly attacks have had a devastating effect on Kenya's tourism. Zlatica, Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
For the latest on the situation in eastern Kenya, VOA's East Africa correspondent Gabe Joselow joins us live by phone from Garissa town. Gabe, give us a feel of the town of Garissa this evening.
Well, this evening it's very, very quiet. You know, there's a curfew in effect now in Garissa County and 3 other counties that are particularly prone to these sort of attacks. During the day, you have military forces out in the streets. You have a mixture of emotions. There's a lot of fear still, a lot of grieving, but also a lot of sort of defiance. We saw a couple of sort of protests and demonstrations in the streets and announcements from local politicians, you know, to stand up and say we are against al-Shabab or against terror and we stand together as Kenyans. So it's really a mixed bag of emotions here.
Now, there have been rumors that perhaps al-Shabab might have gotten away with some students. What are you hearing? Are all students accounted for?
Not all students are accounted for yet. The Red Cross and local health authorities have set up centers where people can come and try to find their loved ones, their relatives, people who are missing. We visited one of those locations today, and there were still many students who were unaccounted for, and nobody was really sure of their locations. Hopefully that information will become a bit clearer in the coming days.
In terms of those who survived and who come from other parts of the country, what do we know about? Where are they staying? Those who've been injured, have they all been taken to facilities that can take care of them?
A lot of the survivors have been taken to kind of camps that are being guarded by Kenyan Defense Forces around Garissa town. Other students and affected people are trying to leave Garissa very urgently. We spoke to a few students who had come from different areas of Kenya, not from this region, and they said they were apprehensive to come here in the first place, and now they never want to come back. So it's been a shock for a lot of those, and of course the local people here are also deeply affected and offended by this action as well. The injured are mostly being treated here in Garissa, although a few have been medevaced out to Nairobi, those who required a little bit more treatment. Also, some international NGOs have been here, like Doctors Without Borders, helping to increase the medical staff presence.
Well, Gabe, thank you very much. VOA's East Africa correspondent Gabe Joselow reporting live from Garissa in eastern Kenya.